So last night, in addition, or yesterday I should say, and I do apologize if you hear any boom boom sounds. It's going to be like notification, text messages, Facebook messages, Instagram, you name it. If you hear a big boom, that's going to be my bank declining something, at least for the next couple of hours. Or no, shouldn't say a couple of hours, but for like the next 12 or so hours. But anyway, to get on topic here, last night I should say, and yesterday was a lot of wrestling. It's continuing today. But with that said, one issue a lot of people have been having lately is the fact that when WWE does Saturday Night's Main Event, or hashtag SNME, yeah, that's what it is. It's hashtag SNME, Saturday Night's Main Event, or hashtag Saturday Night's Main Event. When they've been doing that as of late, it seems that NBC, more so than WWE, has been, I guess you could say, commercial crazy, if you will. And what I mean by commercial crazy is, basically exactly exactly how it sounds. It seems, and I saw this for myself, not yesterday, but I saw this the last time I was watching some live Saturday Night Main Event. Excuse me there. But basically, it seems that you can get into a match as soon as it begins, but then not even 2 minutes, 3 minutes into the match, right to a commercial. And then when it comes back, you're not even 2 or 3 minutes back into the match, maybe 5 minutes back into the match, into another commercial or a picture-in-picture commercial. And it's like, what is going on here? And I was listening to what JD said during his review today, today that he did, his review on it. And he said he might have a solution as to how he's going to be able to watch Saturday Night's Main Event when they do it. And the way he's going to be able to watch Saturday Night's Main Event is by just watching the replay on Peacock. Because Peacock has, less ads, if not no ads at all. Well, I wouldn't say it doesn't have ads. It all depends on your tier. If you have the premium tier, you're okay. But even that might have ads in between. Heck, I was, out of curiosity, I was checking to see what movies, Amazon had, because I was watching a clip from Married with Children Season 1 on YouTube that they uploaded about a week ago. And basically, in this clip, Al does not want to be interrupted watching Hondo. So it got me curious because I think they filmed this during the time when Hondo was coming on, for the first time, if not in a while, if not a long while, for the first time on network television in 3D. They were advertising this as a big, big, big deal. And again, I think, this Married with Children episode was to help promote that. And it just got me curious to see whether or not it was on streaming. And it's on streaming. Yes, it's on Amazon Prime, but there's a catch. It has ads. Even though I have a Prime account, which is basically making my stuff ad-free, most of it has ads. But why? Mainly because of the deal that's made. The deal is if you're going to air our stuff, then we're going to put ads in there as much as we want, whether you like it or not, or whether anybody else likes it or not. And, Peacock, to put this in perspective, depending on the tier, does have ads. Do they have it as bad as NBC? No. But they do have ads. And if they're simulcasting something along with the parent company, NBC, Comcast, then yeah, they're going to have ads. There's no doubt. You can't get around that, period. They're going to have ads. But obviously, this seems to be an issue, with a lot of folks. And like I said, JD seems to have found a solution to it. And that solution is to basically, just wait for the replay. Now, he is still considering watching it live, but if the commercial situation gets out of hand more so, when the next Saturday Night's Main Event comes around, if it becomes more out of hand, he is going to consider going to the Peacock direction because even though it's a replay, he's going to have to avoid spoilers and everything. He's going to be able to watch it without any distraction, period. But is that the right direction to go? Is watching it on Peacock either live simulcast or replay-wise, the best solution. That's totally up to you. A lot of people want to watch it naturally as it used to be. That's on NBC, when it comes on. And I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with that because I feel that, watching it the old school way is a great way to feel nostalgic, if you will. A great way to feel nostalgic and feel like, hey, at least they get the gist as to what made Saturday Night's Main Event, very popular and beloved and a cult classic, with a lot of fans. So I have no problem with them keeping on. I have no problem with people wanting to continuously watch it, in that manner. But I do but I do understand the whole commercial situation. It's like it gets out of hand. It gets out of hand tremendously, but unfortunately there is a reason for that. And again, alluding to what I said about the Hondo situation and how it's on Prime Video, but it has ads for some odd reason, it's about the deal. It's about the licensing deal. And WWE/TKO knew what they were getting into, or at least should have known what they were getting into, when they decided to make the deal with NBC to bring back Saturday Night's Main Event. They should have known what they were getting into. They should have known. And let's be honest. We have heard so much news, so much, gaga, if you will, but so much news and gaga over the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that basically NBC, Comcast, Xfinity, NBC, or at least the NBC portion, has been financially struggling. And that it, along with some other NBC subsidiaries, networks, if you will, is on the verge of being sold or separated into a different entity, being separated and sold off to a different entity. We know that they're going through some financial situations. And basically, when you look at how many commercials they're doing constantly, because of the ad revenue that it brings, it shouldn't be a surprise as to maybe that's the reason. They know people love wrestling. Wrestling is hot right now, all across the board. WWE, AEW, TNA, MLW, New Japan, IWGP, if you will. Everybody knows that basically, it is hot. It is a hot commodity right now, and that people will tune in to watch. And that the more people tune in, the more people are going to tolerate commercials or be willing to. They know that. It's the same with streaming. It's the same with, video uploading sites like VENMO and Rumble, and YouTube and Dailymotion. Facebook, Twitter also have those features. Twitch, all of them have, the ad feature. Even if you're a monetizing partner and all that, community partner, content creator, and depending on the plan you have, you're going to get commercials. And it's all about the ad revenue that it brings in, not just for you, but for the platform. And that's why NBC's been doing so many commercials, because financially, whether Xfinity wants to admit it or not, the NBC portion is struggling. It's struggling through to the initial NBC networks. It's struggling through CNBC. It's struggling through MSNBC. It's struggling. Peacock is the only success they have right now. Cable-wise, though, those that I mentioned along with others is struggling. Even USA, despite the money they're laundering out to WWE to keep SmackDown on their network for the foreseeable future, even allowing it to go back down to 2 hours. Why do you think they kept it at 3? Because that initial third hour meant money, meant revenue. That's what it's about. And until they financially get back on their feet or financially get their division of NBC stabilized, in a financial suitable way, you're going to always have commercials. You are. I mean, let's take a look at some of your favorite shows on the NBC networks. Some of your favorite crime shows, some of your favorite news shows. You can't tell me they don't have commercials among commercials among commercials. They do. They do. Heck, the NFL. It might be favored more over at NBC than wrestling is, than WWE. But guess what? They still have commercials. How many times do you watch a Sunday night football game, or a Saturday football game, or Thanksgiving game, and all of a sudden you get a picture-in-picture for at least 30 seconds to a minute? And all of a sudden it happens 5 minutes after you come back from a previous commercial break. How many times? You've seen it a lot, right? You've seen it a lot. And mainly it's because it's the ad revenue. They need the money. That's why they're doing it. It's ad revenue. It's the ad revenue they need to financially keep them stable and at the top of their game. That's why they're doing it. Because they're trying to make up basically for the finances, for the money they are losing. That is what they're doing. They're trying to make up for the money they have lost. And that's why you're getting all these ad revenues, on Saturday Night's Main Event. That's why even if you don't have the premium tier of Peacock, you're going to get ad revenues because they need the money. That's what they're doing. Why do you think Warner Brothers has ads constantly doing Dynamite and Collision? Or why do you think they have ads, if you will, plastered all over, Dynamite and Collision, more so if not just as much as, WWE has them? Why do you think that? Why do you think they are always constantly promoting, a WBD product like Superman, or some kind of game they're connected to, or House of Dragon, if you will, or Game of Thrones, which is House of Dragon, period. But you get the idea. Why do you think that happened? Because WBD needs money. They need money. It's all about ad revenue. It's about what the ad revenue brings in for them, brings in for who they're associated with, but mostly for them. You can't tell me that the deals that WWE's cut with NBC Universal to have Saturday Night's Main Event back on there, or AEW is cut with WBD, to keep Collision and Dynamite on. You can't tell me that in those contracts it states that WBD and NBC get a majority of the ad revenue. That they basically get, let's say, 65%, while WWE and AEW get 45%. You can't tell me, honestly, that's not why you're constantly seeing so much advertising, with WBD products or AEW, or you're seeing so much commercialism, so many commercialized ads and everything popping up during Saturday Night's Main Event, maybe even SmackDown. It's because of the deal they made that allows both entities, WBD and NBC, Universal, Xfinity, Comcast, to get revenue 65% more than WWE and AEW, and that's the truth. That is the truth, whether you want to admit to it or not. That is the truth. So whether you like it or not, a lot of people like JD from NY206 might just have to be satisfied. Just might have to be satisfied with watching the Peacock version, the replay Peacock version of Saturday Night's Main Event in the future, as well as watching the replay version of, let's say, Dynamite and Collision on Max, HBO Max, because less advertisements, less commercials, if none at all, period, so you can have a more enjoyable experience. But that's why, to get back to the core of this, why, WWE had such a commercial crazy, problem with NBC. It's about ad revenue and getting that money that they need made to basically get back in a positive, not negative, outlet, basically to on the positive side of the financial playground and not the negative. But that's just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, and everything. Also, click on the links in the description, guys, to find my content elsewhere outside of YouTube. We greatly appreciate it if you can. There's a lot of content there, guys, on the podcast and all that. I think you will enjoy it. As well as you can go to rumble.com. You can find content there that's similar to here on YouTube. It's not, if not more exclusive there because of reasons. Also, guys, click on my Patreon link as well. You get content there as well you can't get anywhere else. And guys, check out the Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else as well. But let me know what your thoughts are. And until then, I am out. Peace. God bless.